Hello, I'm Eric Logie, and today I'm going to be talking a little bit about teen pregnancy in Latino adolescents. Okay, so the CDC conducted a study in 2012 and found that Hispanics had the highest rate of teen pregnancy in the US. It's more so the Latino culture because of all those, most of them were Mexican descent, and for every 1,000 Hispanic teens ages 15 to 17, the birth rate was 25.5%, whereas for other ethnicities, the birth rate was significantly less. All those other ethnicities combined only make up 14.1% of all the teen pregnancies in teens, whereas, as it says, Hispanic teens had 25.5%. Okay, there are many reasons why a Latino teen would be pregnant. A common teaching throughout Latino culture is that having a family is a good thing, which, in all honesty, it is. The United States has many organizations that teach us that having a family is a good thing and that it should be something to look forward to in life, but that's not the interesting part. According to the national campaign, sex talk isn't really encouraged in Latino culture. And through the generations, there really is little known amongst mainly the more impoverished people in Latin America, because their parents never talked about it with them, that their grandparents never talked with their parents about it, and so the line kind of continues. So this is kind of an interesting thing because we generally see that in cultures where they are more educated and where sex is more of an open topic to talk about, teen pregnancy tends to be less. There is also a big problem with conception use. Most Latinos don't know about contraception. Why? Because honestly, a lot of parents don't talk with their teens about it because, as before mentioned, sex talk really isn't encouraged, and there's many who don't really know much about sex talk and how to talk with their kids about sex. So pretty much many of the teens only have known about condoms because that's really only what the TV talks about, but there's many other ways that they could learn about different types of contraceptions, and with education that's changing, but we'll get to that later. Another interesting thing are women are taught to be meek and submissive, to take care of the family, not to question their husbands, basically to be submissive. This is known as Marianismo, and it's the core belief of what a woman should be in Latin culture. And in the Latin culture, men are taught from a young age to be macho. This is known as machismo, that they must be intelligent and strong and be able to protect their family, but at the same time to get as many notches in their belt as they can in relation to having sexual partners so that they can experience life, kind of a coming of age type thing. Which, another thing I found really interesting is, as I was going throughout this last semester of school, many of my classes have centered around this when we have talked about teen pregnancy, that it's kind of a coming of age thing for men, but women are generally taught to save it and keep it for their future spouse. So it's very interesting to see that it's not just Latin culture, it's all cultures kind of have this in the background. So there's many other reasons why they would have a baby, such as for money through government-funded programs, keeping a man around, say they had a boyfriend they wanted to keep around, things like that. And then, what do they miss when a teen, namely a Latino girl, has a baby? They're missing many opportunities that normal teenagers have. One of them is school, and the statistic there says that Latinos are more likely to drop out of school with an 8.8% than white or black teens, which have less of a percentage. This kind of reminds me of a personal experience. I had a good friend named Lily, and she got pregnant at the age of 16, and she lived at home, so I mean that wasn't really too much of a financial problem, but when the time came for her to have the baby, she had to drop out of school to take care of the baby for the first few months. But by the time that she was done with that, the school had basically told her that there was nothing they could do. She had missed too much school, and only thing left for her to do was get a GED. And so she decided that she wanted a better opportunity in life for her child than she could give if she was uneducated. So every time I saw her after that, she was always studying, always on the computer, always looking for a job, always looking for a college to go to. She had put in many applications to colleges. And this is something that many Latinos don't do. But they also lose job opportunities. There's many times that a teen, whether male or female, if it's the male, maybe that they're too young so they can't quite get the job that they wanted. If it's the mother, she may not have much job opportunity because she has to look after her child. However, with this leads to a possibility for a life of poverty, because their children are more likely to grow up in poverty and become impoverished themselves. This is from a study from the University of Texas, where they studied many people and found that this was the pattern, that those who had a higher income family, usually generally the children had a higher income later on in life, and the same for those in poverty. And so this these are only a few of the things that a teen loses when they become pregnant. There's many other opportunities that they miss, and it's really sad. But there are those such as Lily mentioned, that I had mentioned before, that try to do better, that try to bounce back from having a baby in their teen life. There's many things that we are doing to prevent teen pregnancy. Many are government organizations, such as the National Conference of State Legislators and the National Campaign to Prevent Teen Pregnancy. Here are some examples. Because education is the biggest help in preventing teen pregnancy, especially education to parents, to help teach their kids about sexual health and about teens, to help them to prevent it as well. Many programs help teach teens, such as the Title V Section 510, which funds abstinence-only programs and promotes abstinence and is a government funded. The next is the temporary assistance for needy families, which is a state-funded program that goes toward sexual education programs and social services for teens and parents to help them learn about sexual things, how to talk about sex. Safer Choices, which is an HIV prevention program that teaches teens about STDs and the importance of using condoms. It's generally taught in a classroom-type setting, and it's a long-term thing, so it's not just a 2-week class that then it's like, okay, you're done, have a good life, stay safe, don't have sex. But it's meant for a longer period in life, like most of the teen years. The Children's Aid Society program, which is an after-school type program that helps kids. It helps them do homework. It helps them stay off the streets getting into trouble. It teaches teens how to prevent pregnancy and use contraception such as condoms. It teaches sex education. It also evaluates people's mental health, their sexual health, and just their overall personal well-being. However, this program is expensive, and it doesn't seem to work much for boys. Looking at the numbers, boys just didn't seem to have a connection to this program as girls did. In closing, I would like to say that, again, teen pregnancy affects over half of adolescent Latinos, and through education we can decrease this number, and teens can learn that there's more to life than having sex and then being consequented with a baby. There's many things that we can do to prevent it. But even though it's hard, it can be good. In an article that it was written in Spanish, but it's "What does a teen lose when they become pregnant?" But the interview they had in this article, there was a video interview, and the young woman in it said that she wouldn't give her baby up for the world. That you can have a baby and it can be really frustrating, and it can be a nasty experience for a teen to have to go through at such a young age. But in the end, there's not much you can do. If you choose to keep the baby rather than give them up for adoption, then there's many good things that the baby can bring to a family. And this is kind of what a PowerPoint video breakdown of teen pregnancy looks like in the life of Latino adolescents. I can't get into the emotional too much because there is no emotional way to explain how this happens or what goes on in this. Only from what I've seen in life can I even know, because, well, I'm an adult. I didn't have a child as a teen. So, yeah. Anyway, so thanks for your time, and this was a very insightful project. I learned a lot. And thank you so much.